time in a few races to take the start. So here we go. It is
probably. Oh yeah, here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go then for the Austrian Grand Prix. It looks as though Riggsy got bogged down a little bit at the start, and Dylan's had a great start up the inside into turn 1. They go 3 wide, and that was never going to work. Brittany Boy getting loose, somehow not losing the car entirely. Riggsy then gets up into P2 with Dylan third, Connor into fourth. The Haas pair making a brilliant start. Both of them, Brittany Boy down into 8th already as we're getting a bit untidy down into, or up again into turn 3. Riggsy already right on the back of, check this out, as they look to pull away already at the start. It's getting a bit messy then towards the back of the field as we've got Liam already on the back of Danny.
I've well and truly
Sends
Sam.
lots of
Yeah, he said an absolute shocker. Ooh, Carlin going up the inside of Bennett into turn 7. Looks like he's going to break that 6, yeah. Bennett is going to fight back.
They're going to be going side by side though, James.
He's got to back out of that,
going side by side into turn 9, and he does just about back out of that, Bennett. So Colin getting the move done. And Riggsy is not past Czech. The timing said he was, but he's still on the back of Czech. I was like, there's been an overtake? Where? So Czech with Riggsy right behind him as they go towards turn 3. Is the Renault driver going to go for a move? Not on this occasion. Probably best to just wait for the DRS, which is not activated this time round. They said they'd fix this glitch where the game gets the latches wrong, but they haven't.
In the famous words of Martin Brundle, it's the most disappointing thing since Shrek 2.
There we go. We got Brittany though already looking to make amends for his poor start. Not necessarily the start was his fault, but he's already back looking for a way past ERM Massey to get up into P6. Both the Haas pair, as we say, making good starts. If we bring up the position change, McEwen up 3, Massey at 1. Yeah, Brittany down 5. He's the big loser there, along with Bunny and Sem. Other than that, relatively quiet in the midfield. Colin up 3, the only other driver from 9th down making any sort of gain. As DRS is now activated as we go on to the 3rd lap of this race. We've got Danny and Predators battling it out down into the first corners. Danny goes, yeah, really deep into turn 1. And this could allow Predators to come back at him. But actually, I think it might have gained him a bit of time, as the Ferrari driver doesn't look as though he's going to be able to fight back on this occasion. As the field's already starting to spread out a little bit. Danny is over a second off of Van Dorn in P10. And I guess it's these guys starting on the mediums, just not quite able to keep touch with those on softs, and they're fresh softs as well at the start here at this moment in time.
Yeah, basically hot on the heels of Czech as well, with 90% battery still, so he's looking pretty quick in these early exchanges. And yet we're already getting 2 groups forming, aren't we? There's the group beyond Danny from 11th downwards, and then the top 10. Massey just about clinging onto McEwen's DRS. That could be crucial for his race, because as soon as you lose the DRS, it is extremely difficult to get it back. And that is Liam with the first penalty of the race.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the mediums runners and the softs runners, obviously bar Carlin, who's made up a few positions anyway off the start on softs. As Riggsy, is he going to be able to go for a move into turn 3? No, he's not, but Bunny might have a look at Brindy. Nope, this is what I mean, this is what I was saying with the fact that it is a DRS train. While overtaking is possible, it actually makes it quite difficult at times. As it is kind of just single file. Yeah, Van Dorn has lost a lot of time. I don't know if he's made a mistake there. But yeah, he's lost touch to Jib Jab.
Needs to use some of that battery he's got saved up.
He's coming into the clutches of the mediums runners, as Lewis has gotten past Carlin. He'd gotten past Bennett on the previous lap, had the Racing Point driver, and he's now past Carlin. As we've got Sem and Bennett battling it out for what was P16, it's now going to be P15 as Carlin's gone. What happened there, James?
Just looked like a bit of desync, a bit of lag really involved. It was kind of hard to tell, but between Carlin and Lewis, yeah, I'm honestly not really too sure what happened, because the cars were kind of jumping about all over the place. But yeah, off into the gravel on that right hand side on the exit of turn 6 and picking up a time penalty, which is pretty unfortunate because he lost a heck of a lot of time from it. So yeah, not the best of all. He's almost gone again there, Carlin. So yeah, his race is going from bad to worse in a very short period of time. But Riggs is still right on the back of Czech, Harry, for the lead. Changing the focus here. But yeah, top 3 now starting to pull away as Connor is struggling to keep up with them.
Yeah, it seems as though Riggsy and Bunny, I've been kind of looking out for them because they seem to be the 2 drivers that are getting right on the back of the guy in front, both into turn 1, and then Czech and Brindy have both been getting far better exits than the aforementioned drivers out of the first corner, and it means that they've not been able to go for the move just yet. Connor, of course, will be with that stock setup very quick in the middle sector, but he'll have nothing in a straight line compared to Dylan, which is why he is only just in the DRS range of Dylan. He goes very deep there into turn 1. Massey gets a penalty as well, and now McEwen is right on the back of Connor. Are we going to see a move from the Haas driver? Getting past the Williams, he goes to the outside into turn 3. Connor brakes later. McEwen going for the switchback out of turn 3. It's a great run out of turn 3, and he's got a cracking exit on the traction. They're going to be going side by side down into turn 4. Connor trying to hold it on the outside. Big lock up on the front right. Bit of contact made as McEwen gets a bit loose on the exit. Connor's still there on his outside, but he concedes the position now, and McEwen takes P4 off of the Williams driver.
Wow, what great racing there from the 2 of them. McEwen with a brilliant switchback out of turn 3, and yeah, getting the job done around the outside and then switching back to the inside at turn 4. And yeah, Connor just sort of getting squeezed out a bit, didn't really have any sort of reply. And now McEwen can set his sights on catching back up to that top 3, which it looks like he's already done, getting the DRS off of Dylan straight away. So yeah, McEwen starting to get a move on in this race.
Yeah, McEwen's teammate as well, ERM Massey, is now right on the back of Connor, who again gets a bit deep at turn 1. And Massey's going to be going for the carbon copy here on Connor, who again brakes a lot later than the Haas driver into turn 3, but Carlin retires in the pits. Massey can't get the switchback this time round, and Bunny in the background getting past Brindy Boy there, as you can see. I think Brindy might have a go back at the Mercedes into turn 4. No, not on this occasion. So Bunny up to P7, getting past Brindy, who ever since that start hasn't been able to make the ground back up. McEwen, like you say, has closed in onto the top 3 already, who again, it's the same case for Riggsy. He gets a really good run through the final couple of corners and onto the start-finish straight, but then out of turn 1 just can't do anything. Czech gets a far better exit, and it means that Riggsy just isn't close enough to go for a move, as McEwen now on the exit of turn 9 just picking up a time penalty as well.
Yeah, Brindy looking pretty scruffy as well there, I've just seen, and then Massey right on the back of Connor as well, so not the best of opening laps for the Williams pair by any means. I think Connor with that stock setup is just going to be sliding down the field.
Oh, here we go.
Now.
We're going to see it this time.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate for him because his pace looks so good, Connor, in qualifying, and yeah, just not really got any sort of response in a straight line. As Massey now lunges to the inside of the top of the hill, going to get the DRS again down into turn 4. Connor using a lot of battery to try and keep these guys behind, but it's
Connor holding the outside line. As they go through, yeah, Massey just muscles his way past.
Here's Bunny as well, looking racy, licking his lips. Beyond the Williams, he goes very deep into turn 6.
A bit of understeer.
These guys,
yeah, Massey getting the elbows out there.
The lead now.
But he got the move done. Yeah, that battling really losing a lot of time. And I had a bit of a mare there on stream, I will admit. I saw Riggsy's gap again go up to check out of turn 1, but then it came down quite considerably, so I was worried I was going to miss that overtake. And then of course in the process I then missed the overtake that Massey pulled on Connor, so I apologise for that. But I'm kind of trying to catch multiple battles at once, as now Riggsy is using a bit of this battery, and he does have a good run on Czech. It's the first time he's got a good run on him, but he just backs out. He doesn't even want to have a look at Czech's inside there into turn 3.
Whoa, big contact.
Backs out way earlier than he needed to, and what has gone on there, James?
I'm not too sure. Again, I've just got the end of it, but yeah, Connor and Massey, big contact at the top of the hill. Connor's gone into the side of Massey from what it looks like, and Massey's gone round, but no damage to either of them from what I can see. So that's a really weird one there. Might have been lag again, because yeah, the I can't even think of the word now. The lobby, that's it. The lobby hasn't had the greatest of connections tonight. But yeah, it's all kicking off.
Yeah.
In this midfield.
These guys 4 seconds now off the lead. I guess that's the other thing as well with the stock setup. The braking, like the brake bias and that isn't as well. It's not as good as it generally needs to be. So maybe that is a bit of an excuse for Connor as to why he's perhaps slowed down a little bit. And this time we do see a pretty easy move for P1 as Riggsy does take the lead of the race. This time round he does, on this occasion, wants to go for the move, and it was pretty easy. Czech down to 30% of his battery, Riggs on about 60, so I think Czech might have just wanted to let the Renault go there to try and save up a bit more of his battery.
Yeah, it's a weird one, just going back to that instant, because it looked like Connor actually smashed into the side of him from what I caught at the end. But yeah, no damage to either of them, so I'm not really too sure what's happened there. But yeah, as you mentioned, I don't think that default setup is going to be doing him any favours, is it?
No, this top 4 then, with a 4-second gap to Bunny, who is in 5th, but he'll be looking to try and pull that down a bit, but it's going to be difficult. Connor getting a little bit slidey there around turn 9, and he's just going to keep dropping down this field as this race goes on, as Lewis now picks up a time penalty as well. He's got his teammate coming up to the back of him, has Connor in Brindley Boy, so there might be a bit of a swap on the cards at Williams as again Connor goes deep into turn 1. He's really struggling with the braking. Czech has picked up a penalty as well, and Dylan's now having a look down his inside into turn 3, has to leave the room, does Czech, as Dylan had a little look down the inside, but there wasn't really a move on. He got a bit loose on the exit as well, and the McEwen is within 4/10 of the Merc, but he's nowhere near close enough to go for a move, as Connor's trying to keep in touch with Bunny, but he's not going to be able to, I don't think. So like I say, it probably is about time that these guys swap it around. The mediums runners, just to give you an update on them, Sem's been going on pretty nicely. He's made up a couple more positions since we last sort of mentioned him. They're all kind of in the same position they were at the start of the race, just slightly off the back of the soft runners, but they're all chugging along nicely. Predator's the only one of them though to not have a penalty, bar Bennett, who is dead last at the moment. Bennett, so maybe not his strongest circuit, I don't know, because it is a bit of a surprise, it has to be said, seeing the Alfa Romeo so far down the pecking order.
Yeah, he's having a torrid time at the moment from what I can tell. Not really looked at him too much this race, because obviously the action's been happening at the front, but yeah, down in P16 and right at the back, as we've got Williams Civil War here, yeah, really going onto the grass to try and get past Connor. Who's going to try once again to hold it around the outside, and once again it's not going to work for him. They sorted it out between themselves, as really getting Connor, P6.
Connor keeps defending the outside at turn 4, and it hasn't worked on any occasion here, so perhaps might want to rethink that strategy. I don't know whether he was on this occasion conceding the position, but it certainly didn't look like it, as Brindley was forced to go onto the grass to try and find a way past his teammate, as Jib Jab is now coming into the pits on lap 13, the first driver, or lap 12 it is, the end of lap 12 for him. First driver into the pits is the racing point. Takes the pit entry pretty pretty nicely, considering you can gain, we can kind of cheese it a lot more than that, so he's taken it pretty well within the limit.
Goes on to hards.
Goes on to hards, which is a strategy. It's probably
check on Riggs, Harry, for the lead.
The more common strategy you'll see. Yeah, check them back past Riggs. They're on fairly similar ERS, so yeah, Czech did save up a bit of his, and of course out front Riggs having to use some of his battery. The one thing that Riggs has to his advantage is that Czech and McEwen, who are the two of the other 3 drivers in this train, have penalties. The only other driver without a penalty is Dylan, who is the car directly now behind Riggsy, but McEwen has been right on Dylan's gearbox for the last few laps, So it looks as though McEwen has actually got a good turn of pace here. Just can't quite get past the Mercedes, who's obviously got the DRS of the car in front. As Czech is, well, he's pulling away a lot. So I wonder if Riggsy's had a bit of a poor middle sector there, because Czech's got 8/10, nearly 9 to the Renault. And this could give Dylan an opportunity to get past Riggsy and go up into P3. He's going to try it down the inside into turn 3. Brakes later than the Renault. Gets past, but Riggs is going to try the switchback. I don't think he's going to be able to do it though.
Yeah, Dylan's just been waiting for that. He had a full battery when he went for that on the straight, just waiting for that mistake from Riggs to get the move done. So yeah, smart driving from Dylan there. Riggs also wasn't helped by a little tap from McEwen, but I think Dylan had the job done anyway.
Maybe Riggs' tyres perhaps going off slightly compared to the likes of Dylan and Czech. I guess it is the pit window, so could perhaps be looking at going for a bit of an undercut on the guys around him, which I think he is, because there we go. We see the Renault right on the the right-hand side, sorry, going into turn 8 as McEwen gets another penalty there. So yeah, Riggsy is pitting. He's going for the undercut, so that'll be an interesting one to see if he can jump back ahead of Dylan and Czech. As now Dylan is has closed right up to the back of the Ferrari as well. Going on to mediums, there we go. So a bit aggressive with the strategy from Riggsy. The mediums can just about go from this stage of the race. So I think with this restart, the lobby restart, I think these guys generally looking like mediums, softs and mediums is the way to go. Connor's lagged out again. I don't know if it's gotten to the point where we probably shouldn't be inviting him anymore. I don't know.
That's about the 5th time. I don't think it's fair on some of these guys.
Van Dorn is now going to be trying to go for the move on Connor's AI. Then round the outside at turn 4. But Connor's AI is holding it in there against the AlphaTauri. But Van Dorn does just muscle his way past and up into a net P7, I do believe that will be.
Yeah, it's a shame for Connor. I mean, it would be ideal if he retired in the pits, but
checking McEwen pit.
I don't think we should be inviting him back. That's about the 5th time he's disconnected. So yeah, just
check McEwen Bunny all into the pits. It's mediums for the Ferrari, mediums for the Merc, and the Merc Bunny as well, getting held up by Brindy Boy, who's coming into the pits. Yet McEwen as well onto the mediums. So let's see how Riggsy fares. How much of an undercut has the Renault driver got? It's enough of one to get ahead of Czech, who was net P1. So, with Dylan staying out an extra lap to give his teammate the opportunity to pit, could this be advantage Riggsy yet again? And it is the stage of the race now where I was suggesting we could start to see these guys at the front spread out a little bit, because if Riggsy can put a car in between himself and Czech, or in between himself and Dylan, depending on where Dylan comes out, then that really could play into Riggsy's hands if he can use that to pull away. Predators now is right on the back of Connor's AI. I think he would have just gotten a warning for that as well, as he went pretty wide on the exit at turn 6. Unfortunately, the AI will be giving him a bit of dirty air and whatnot, as it looks like it's going to be coming into pit now, which is going to get a bit awkward for Predators, as he has to kind of avoid it. Sem and Lewis still right on the back of the Ferrari. So these guys, like I say, they've been chugging along nicely. Danny is actually the furthest ahead of the mediums runners, so he's having a very nice race in the Red Bulls. Jib Jab just picks up a penalty there as well. So let's see where Riggsy comes out in relation to Dylan as they go through the first corner. Yeah, he's ahead, and Dylan is behind Czech and going to be going side by side with the AlphaTauri of Liam, who is on the alternate strategy. But Liam, I don't think, going to be trying to interfere with this battle too much, as McEwen almost tapping the back of the AlphaTauri there into turn 3. Is McEwen going to be able to get past Liam? I don't think he is. So that's definitely going to halt McEwen's progress a little bit. He runs the risk now of losing touch to the net top 3 of the race, which is Riggsy, Czech and Dylan, for anyone that's just tuning in. So yeah, Jib Jab, James, the only driver going on to the hards. Do you think that's a bit of a mistake?
Yeah, definitely. He struggled to keep up with people that he might have been able to otherwise, and yeah, probably won't gain as much at the end just because DRS and everything like that. So yeah, I think that's a bit of a mistake.
I mean, I guess I guess if there's a safety car with a few laps to go and everyone stays out, then his hards will be better. But yeah, unfortunate for Jib Jab, because like I say, I think normally it probably is the way to go, going on to the hards, but because of the restart, it allowed for drivers to start on fresh tyres, as Riggsy's gotten past Bennett, so he has done what I suggested, or well, what I said could happen, and put a car in between himself and Czech. But straight away Czech getting past the Alfa Romeo as well, so Czech's not willing to just let Riggsy run away with this one. He's going to be following him every step of the way, even if he has got a time penalty to his name and Riggsy doesn't at the moment. Obviously a halfway stage of the race, so still a very long way to go. It's not over by any stretch. Dylan though stuck behind Bennett for probably longer than he would have wanted to, and it's only half a lap that he'll be stuck behind the Alfa Romeo. It looks as though Bennett is kind of just letting people go, which is pretty kind of him really, because he is still in the race, as it were, although he, like you say, he does just not seem to have the pace of the guys around him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what these guys need though on the mediums in I don't know, 2 or 3 laps time maybe is a safety car, and then they'll be right back in the race. Although yeah, it seems kind of unlikely. I mean, so far, touch wood, not been really too many incidents. But yeah, Brindy Boy getting past Jib Jab, as we kind of suspected. Jib Jab struggling on those hards, and yeah, Brindy Boy's just, I don't really know what's happened to him this race. Obviously, after the start, I think just maybe getting into battles that he perhaps wasn't expecting to, and yeah,
he has been locking up ahead of a lot as well, James. So I wonder if he's struggling with that a little bit.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, we've kind of gotten to the point in this race now, though, where these front runners have caught up to this train with Predators, Sem and Lewis in it. So it's probably going to be a bit more difficult for these guys to get past than if it was just a car running on its own. As Czech's had a brilliant run through the final couple of corners, got right onto the gearbox of Riggsy, the gap closing down substantially, but just can't get the move done because everyone's got DRS on one another. However, Lewis and Preds were battling through turn 1, and that's given Riggsy the chance to go past the Racing Point down into turn 3, and now Czech and Lewis going side by side through the hairpin that is turn 3. It looks as though Lewis is going to battle this one out, and Riggsy doing the smart thing, giving the Racing Point the toe to try and avoid Czech getting past him. And Lewis looks as though he's going to hold the position. They're going side by side, wheel to wheel, bit of contact made, and Lewis getting the elbows out and doing Riggsy a massive favour there and keeping ahead of the Ferrari. Check this out.
Yeah, I think Czech just turning in a little too early there, catching that front left. Always he gets it all wrong, and then Lewis also getting it all wrong. So,
he's going to pass him now. Dylan's going to go as well. This is getting messy. They've just about got round as there's contact between Lewis and Dylan, but they all just get away with it unscathed. As we've got Danny into the pits, so he's the first mediums runner into the pits. So it's now Riggsy with Preds and Sem in front of him. And it's probably a bit of a conflict of interest for Preds here. Obviously good friends with Riggsy, but his teammates, the car battling for the win just behind. Although it doesn't look like he's going to put up a massive fight against the Renault. Riggsy, who completely misses his braking point, has to dive down the inside of Sem as well, and picks up a time penalty for his trouble. Gets a dreadful run out of turn 3, and now Czech's gone past Predators as well. So it's all gone pear-shaped really in a matter of seconds for Riggsy. It's not over yet though, but that's really put him on the back foot now, as he's going to try and battle it out with Preds round the outside at turn 6. Can't get it done, has to back out, and now Dylan's got past Riggsy as well, and now McEwen's going down the inside of Riggsy, and it has all gone horribly wrong for the Renault driver in a matter of moments, as he's lost 3 positions to the cars around him, as Predators now comes off into the pits, as does Sem, who takes a very unconventional line there into the pits, and Czech, out of all of this, has got a 2.5 second gap to Dylan in 2nd place.
Yeah, Dylan's still with quite a lot more battery as well though, but yeah, Riggs just found himself in a net P1 at the start of that lap, and by the start of the next, he's net P4, or sorry, now P4 on track.
McEwen on Dylan as well, James.
Yeah, it's just all going wrong for
the
Riggs.
driver now goes up into P2.
Not great for Dylan either, actually, because he'll have been trying to save some of that battery to maybe push on and try and catch up to Czech. So, unless McEwen's got some really good pace here, these guys may be giving Czech a big advantage here.
Yeah, the other thing that's really going to hamper these guys is that Bunny, Dylan's teammate, without a penalty as well for good measure, is now P5. And right on the back of these guys, he's gained massively out of hitting a little bit earlier than his teammate, and then not being held up by the traffic like the four ahead of him were. So yeah, Bunny's really got himself into this battle now for the podium positions, as it looks as though Dylan hasn't got great pace, but like you say, he's got a lot of his battery, James. So I don't quite know what he's doing, but Rigsy's all over the back of him as well. Dylan is still in the net race lead, as it were, after penalties. Although, like you said, the longer they stay like this, it's going to give Chet the advantage and give him the opportunity to pull away. As Danny's setting the fastest lap on his fresh softs. He's already in P10. So that'll be an interesting one to see how he fares. Possibly got a shot at P6, has Danny in the Red Bull. I'm not sure that without a safety car he'll be able to get any higher, mind. But we'll have to wait and see. As yeah, it looks as though McEwen is losing touch a little bit to Czech. So while the battle for P1 has kind of vanished in a split second, we've now got a four-way battle for P2 with Bunny joining in on the action. Rigsy again right on the back of Dylan through the final few corners. Is he going to go for a move? It looks like he's trying to line one up, but Dylan's got the DRS from the Haas in front, as well as Chet gets another penalty. So that's big for the races. McEwen gets very loose out of turn 1, and Rigsy's now got the run on Dylan and McEwen, and McEwen is going to lose the place to Dylan and possibly a place to Rigsy as Rigsy tries it round the outside at turn 3, but McEwen diving back up the inside of Dylan. They're going side by side now, are the Haas and the Mercedes, as Dylan gets a good exit. McEwen has to settle in behind, and now Bunny as well trying to get in on the action as McEwen having a look down. Dylan's inside into turn 4. Rigsy,
what are these guys doing?
Just holding back, trying to find an avenue for overtake as McEwen again having a look down the inside into turn 6. Dylan defending well though round the outside. They remain as they were, but that's lost them a second to check. All this squabbling between the four of them could lose all of them a position here. As if they can get within 3 seconds of check, I think Rigsy will definitely gain the position. I think McEwen has 2 penalties, however, as both Brinny Boy and Danny just getting their another penalty as well. As McEwen again running very wide out of turn 1.
Going to go for it again as well. Might be too far back.
Rigsy's going for it again as well. So it could be carbon copy of last lap with them all going wheel to wheel again. Dylan defends well at turn 3 though, so he doesn't really give McEwen the opportunity to go for the move. And Rigsy trying to find a way to go for a move on McEwen, but again just no gaps really appearing, as it is just so difficult for all these guys to go for a move when they're running in a train like this. Czech's now 3.7 seconds ahead, so he's just flying at this point, is the Ferrari driver.
Brindy Boy's catching these guys at a rate of knots as well. It's about half a second a lap he's gaining, so he could be joining this battle for the podium soon if these guys aren't careful.
Yeah, this battling is costing them dear, I think, and he's dragging along Massey, Van Dorn and Jib Jab with him. Is Brindy Boy.
That could be
Bunny gets a penalty, and I think Rigsy might be having another look at McEwen. But again, McEwen's having a look at Dylan into turn 3.
That was late.
He's kind of forced down the inside, and it was very late. And the half spins on the exit, and it meant that Bunny and Rigsy both had to kind of check their runs out of the corner to avoid the Haas driver. As now Bunny's going massively down the inside into turn 4 on Rigsy. Rigsy going for the switchback, but Bunny out of nowhere diving it down the inside and getting the position off of the Renault driver. So he's obviously decided he's got to get a bit of a move on after picking up that time penalty just a few moments ago. He had 50% of his battery last lap. He's down to 14% now, Bunny. So yeah, I think he has kind of just decided that he's got to get a bit of a wriggle on if he wants to get anything out of this race.
Oh, Van
Or
Dorn
get anything
absolutely flying as well, Harry.
on the podium.
Van Dorn got a jib jab the lap before, now he's shaping up a move on Massey. Thinks better of it into turn 1. Probably the smart thing to do. And now he's going to try and get him up into turn 3. Might be too far back again, depends how much battery he wants to use as he almost touches the rear of the Haas, but yeah, gets the move done at the inside, so Van Dorn into P7.
Yeah, that was very close between the pair of them. I braced for impact at one point, but they got it done. Good move from Van Dorn, like you say, up into P7, so recovering well after slightly disappointing qualifying, you might say, after he was right up there in the first 2 sessions. But yeah, he's up into P7. He's going along pretty nicely. Danny's caught 3 seconds to the guys ahead. Excuse me, on his softs. So he's definitely not one to count out for getting in on the action in a few moments' time, as Brindy Boy gets another penalty as well. But he is now only he's less than 2 seconds off of Riggsy, who's at the back of this train for P2. And Jib Jab, Massey and Van Dorn are all being pulled along by the Williams driver here. So this battle of 4 could quite quickly become a battle of 9, or 8, sorry, if I can count. A battle of 8 if the guys ahead keep battling like they have been doing the last few laps. Check this out now with a 4-second lead for SLR Dylan. He needs 2 more seconds, and to avoid getting another penalty though, to win the race as it stands. As Van Dorn is flying, as you say, he's now really close to the back of Brindy Boy, less than 4/10 off of the back of the Williams driver. So could we see Van Dorn making further progress through this field?
But he's going to go to the inside of McEwen.
Hasn't got the DRS. And they are going side by side. Contact made between the pair of them, as McEwen just about holding on to the position for now. But I think Bunny's going to have another look down into turn 3. He thinks about it. McEwen positions his car well though to defend from the Mercedes,
yeah,
and he can't get it done.
Boy as well.
And of course, yeah, we miss Van Dorn on Brindy, but he has got past, as you say, James. As we've got a racing point in the second set to bring out some, in the final set, sorry, bring out some yellow flags. That is Lewis.
He spun it.
I think he's just had a bit of spin, yeah. This battle then for P2 raging on as it has been for the last 10 laps plus, as the orders changed somewhat, but the tenacity of it hasn't, as now Van Dorn 2.5 off the back of these guys, so the gap is still coming down, but it's not as much as it was when these guys were really in the heat of battle, as Danny, as you see there, has gained another second.
Here comes McEwen.
The Brindy, the Van Dorn train as it is now, as yeah, McEwen down the inside. Ooh. Contact made. He takes the Verstappen line through turn 3.
That could cost Dylan the win right there.
And that could not only cost Dylan the win, but it could cost him 3 positions, as Riggsy's now going to try it round the outside into turn 4. Dylan though braking later than the Renault driver, but Riggsy with the switchback, he's going to try it around the outside of turn 6. This is the move he tried on Preds, which lost him 3 positions. But he's done it perfectly this time round. What a move from Riggsy round the outside at turn 6. He learnt from his previous mistake when trying to get past Preds, and he's pulled off an excellent move there to get himself up into P4.
He just absolutely sent it, didn't he? Balls to the wall, round the outside, and he needed stick, and that was a fantastic overtake from Riggsy. And yeah, that could be the move there that loses SLR in this race.
Yeah, he couldn't really afford to lose too much time to check, and he's not lost the time, or the P2 driver, sorry, hasn't lost the time to check, but of course losing those positions means that Dylan's a good 2.5 seconds further back from Czech than he was a lap ago.
Look at Van Dorn carrying
Ricci's
these
gonna
guys
have to
towards
use
the top 5 as well.
all his battery to try and keep up with Bunny and McEwen as well, because McEwen has got some very strong pace by those things. As you say, Van Dorn nearly, it's in sight, it's within sight for the AlphaTauri driver is the Mercedes of Dylan and the DRS, but he's not quite there yet. He is pulling Brindley Boy and Massey and still Jib Jab along. Jib Jab, credit to him, on the hard compound tyres, is still putting in a good shift here in P9. Danny as well now is right on the back of Jib Jab, almost within DRS range himself, as Van Dorn is now within 9/10 of Dylan, and Massey gets very wide there out of the final corner, and Jib Jab's going to go for it, I think, down into turn 1. Massey backs out extremely early, concedes the position to Jib Jab there without any fight whatsoever. I wonder if he was doing that tactically to try and get the run into turn 3, but if he did, then he didn't do it well enough, because he is not going to be close enough to get that position back. So Jib Jab then up into P8, as Bunny has gotten past McEwen for P2, and Danny is now within DRS range as well of these guys on the soft compound tyres, so he's definitely still going to be a factor in this race, as Brindy Boy is back on the charge trying to pressure Van Dorn to get that P6 back that he held only a few laps ago. Dylan, the only driver in the top 11 without a penalty.
He's still really close to 6 seconds behind Czech as well, I think. Yeah, he's 6.3 at the moment, so he's still got a chance here. He probably likes to clear Ricci, then he'd feel a bit more confident. But yeah, that gap grows in the corners and then comes back down on the straights with the help of DRS. But yeah, those hards.
He's lost DRS, James.
Yeah, hards potentially going to come good for Jib Jab at the end here compared to the guys on mediums. These tyres will definitely be going off. But yeah, this race is by no means over, is it? And there's only 4 laps left to go.
That was flown by, actually. Blimey. Yeah, Danny then is now on the back of Massey, who has lost DRS to the train in front of him. So this is definitely an advantage to the Red Bull driver, who is also on the soft compound tyres. Massey defending the inside into turn 4. He's going to force Danny to go the long way round, and he tries to go for the move, but there's just no way round on this occasion. It's good defending from the Haas driver to keep Danny behind. And they're just going to have to stay as they are for a little while longer. As yeah, Massey really dropping back now, as these guys, this train, I don't think they've not been more than a second apart. These 4 from Bunny to Dylan for what this must be about 20 laps or so. It's thrilling stuff, it has to be said, as the order is still quite difficult to determine really with the penalties. As we know that a lot of these drivers have penalties, but we don't actually know the specific amounts that they've got, as Dylan again getting loose out of turn 3. Thankfully Van Dorn is too far back to punish Dylan for that and capitalise on his little mistake. So yeah, it's kind of what we were saying really, what we thought could happen. It's the classic case of the DRS train. You can't really get any moves done if you're in the middle of it. But yeah, it is going to come right down to the wire. Like you say, the gap, Dylan is about 2/10 off of the race win, as Brindy Boy gets another penalty. That's at least his 3rd. Yeah, Dylan has got to, you think he's got to get past Ricci to have any chance of winning this race.
This is going to be super close at the end. It's 6.1 now. Yeah, it's fluctuating between about 5.9 and 6.3 or something. But yeah, just going to depend how these final 2 laps are for all these guys.
What's Czech's battery looking like, James?
Yeah, 11%. So it's.
Oh, Dylan's diving it down the inside of Ricci, and there we go.
Yeah, that's the race, isn't it, right there?
An overly ambitious move from Dylan, resourcing in and picking up a time penalty. And that should, without any catastrophic error,
Van Dorn's gone.
As Dylan has a catastrophic error and hits the wall,
that's Dylan,
and retired on track, so his head's obviously just gone, and that's really going to fuck everyone up behind him. So yeah, good one there, Dylan, mate. Czech, without any catastrophic error, then should win this race. I imagine Dylan will get a fairly hefty penalty for that, because, well, that's a real shame really, because he was driving a very nice race, but it's one little moment and he's decided that he doesn't even want any points, let alone the maybe 18 he could have got. But there we go, we move on. It looks as though then, like I say, without any major error, as Czech has now started the final lap, he should be taking the checkered flag here, but the race is definitely not over. This battle for the podium carries on, as we can change the gap back to the interval between drivers again, as Danny is now up to P8. Of course, he's benefited from that, as has Sem, who's now up into P9. Massey drops to 10th and might drop out of the points depending on the penalty situation, as Predators has no penalties. Neither does Bennett. They're both running pretty close to one another, so they might be able to capitalise on any penalties, as McEwen is actually really close now to the back of Bunny, and Riggsy drops right off the back of them and has got Van Dorn going for the move into the final corner, or penultimate corner, sorry, but he can't get it done. But here we go then, across the line. It's going to be, check this out, in the Ferrari to take pole and the win here at Austria. Silly Bunny crosses the line to take P2, with Riggsy getting the final podium position in third. Van Dorn less than a tenth off of the podium in fourth, with McEwen coming home fifth. Jib Jab, brilliant stint from him on the hards, it has to be said, to take P6. Predators and Bennett both gaining massively from not having any penalties to come home 7th and 8th. Massey takes 9th, with Danny the final points paying position in 10th. Sem comes home 11th, with Brinny Boy 12th. I can't see the rest of the results, but I'll get to them in a second. But what a race that was, James. Brilliant battles all the way along, and a thoroughly deserved win, it has to be said, for, check this out, in the Ferrari. Pole position, slightly unexpected. The win, not so much. A brilliant drive from him.
Yeah, it was action-packed from start to finish, wasn't it? To be honest, I think the only thing you could say about Czech's drive that was anything wrong with it was the two penalties. But yeah, apart from that, it was faultless. Made the most of the guys battling behind and pulled away and did enough. Did enough to win it, with obviously Dylan getting that penalty at the end. But yeah, great drive from him, and Bunny as well, fighting his way through the field back up to P2 was another good one to watch. So yeah, very good racing there on the whole from start to finish.
Yeah, so there we have it then. The provisional race results for the Austrian Grand Prix is, check this out, who takes the win. It's only by 8/10 in the end though to Silly Bunny. However, it was, you might say, a little bit more comfortable than that, or at least it was for the last 10 laps or so. Of course, just taking advantage of the guys battling around, like you say, James, to pull away and take the win. Bunny in second, with Riggsy in P3, capitalising on McEwen having an extra penalty as he crossed the line. I think it might have been, was it P3? McEwen crossed the line, yeah. But yeah, just missing out. Came home P5 in the end, with Van Dorn in fourth. Jib Jab comes home P6 after a good stint on the hards, with Predators and Bennett both capitalising on having no penalties to take 7th and 8th. Massey comes home P9 in the Haas, with Danny P10 for Red Bull. It's Sem, Brindy and Liam are the three other finishers. The rest either disconnected, lagged out, whatever, or DNF'd entirely. I believe we do have the top three in the party now, so I'll hand it over to you, James, to conduct the podium interviews. But just before then, just say congratulations to the top three on their races.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. We'll start with third place today. Started third, finished third. Riggs, maybe a little disappointed with third, but obviously gaining at the end with McEwen's extra penalty. So yeah, could have been a bit worse, I'm sure you agree. But yeah, just talk us through your race.
I actually thought I'd done alright, to be fair. It was just unfortunate with the fact that when the pit stops can run, the traffic kind of really started to kind of set in. And it was just a matter of trying to, because I had like Czech and Dylan and that basically clipping at the heels. The step was fine, absolutely fine. Couldn't have went any better. Could have built a reasonable gap. Pit stops just kind of was always going to throw something at you, and we just never handled it properly. We're not saying a Preds at top 3, and I just snatched a bit of the brakes and nearly took same way, eh? So, but I'm not going to care about that. You can sit and dwindle on the fact that could have been a missed one, but I'm just happy with a podium. To be fair, after the run of races I've had, so I'll take that. Even though it was hectic at the best of times, having like Bunny and McKeon and Dillon and all that just clip at the heels, and just with the pace they've got every end, the tyres were going off like it was 80% state on the final lap. So it was really just squeaky bum time.
Yeah, I think you've summed that up perfectly, really. I think with the fight that you all had coming in third isn't a bad result by any means, and yeah, good points in the hunt for the championship. Obviously, gaining a bit on Brindy as well is always nice. But we'll now move on to Bunny in P2. I'm sure once again you'll be pretty happy with that after sort of being down P5, P6 for quite a bit, and then after the pit stops really came alive. Obviously, you caught the battle for P2, and then made the moves late on. So another podium for you as well, back to back. So another good result.
Cheers. I'm pretty happy with it. Although at the same time, easily could have been P1. I literally had 3 warnings the whole race, and one of them was in a straight line. So that feels pretty bad. But I mean, well done to check, and I mean the moves at the end were pretty satisfying. Bittersweet though, because obviously Dillon would have won the race, but been absolutely sent to the shadow run by McEwen, so I'm not sure about that one, but it was a good race, and cheers and well done, check for your first win of the season.
Then we will finish off with today's race winner. Who is of course, check this out. Pole to first, right? I'm not.
Yeah.
It was Pole. Yeah, string to remember. It feels like so long ago, but yeah. It was a really good lap for Pole. I said at the time as you crossed the line that I thought that would be Pole, but Pole to victory, and I guess just capitalising on the fight behind, and as soon as you got past Predators, then just never really looked back from there. Even with that extra penalty, doing enough to win the race.
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of annoyed that I got the 6 seconds, and I was praying for people to fight behind, because I had no ERS and I could just see them all bunching up, so I was praying for something to happen, and luckily for me it did. But still, I feel like I got through the traffic, got quite lucky with getting past Preds and Riggs on the same straight. That probably what made me win the race. But still felt like I had great pace even in front of everyone, so I'm just so happy to win on track and win my first race of the season.
Yeah, big points as well gained in the championship, which I'm sure you'll be happy with. Yeah,
definitely. Still quite far to Brindy, but we'll see.
You're not a big one out, I think. So.
Oh, see.
Long way to go.
Exactly.
Oh.
I think that'll do it for the podium interviews then this week. If you just want to round off the stream.
Yeah, thanks, James. So that brings us to the halfway stage then in Season 6 for the Division 1 drivers. Be sure to join us throughout the rest of the weekend, as we've got 3 more races left to go, as with the end of Elite on Sunday. That will be the official halfway stage of the season. But yeah, Division 1, another brilliant race tonight, so I'd like to thank again all the drivers involved for making it a really good race and a really good watch. And yeah, more of the same, just keep it up. To be honest, it's looking like it's becoming a really close championship fight now at the front. Maybe wouldn't have been saying that had Brindy Boy won this evening, but I mean, I think it shows that it really is anyone's game on any day. So yeah, really enjoyable, really good race. Just keep it up, and we'll catch you all same time next week for... Is it Britain next week? Yes, it is Britain. So yeah, we'll see you in Silverstone in a week's time. Thank you all, and good night.
James doesn't hang about.